Hey, what up guys? In this video, we're going to talk about if you should care about TGL or tomorrow's golf league. I'm going to give a high level of the league and go over some interesting observations. I'll also be discussing some concerns I have as a person who likes a variety of spectator sports like football, basketball, and of course golf. And as a person going to the inaugural match on January 7th, I also want to give my perspective. I also am giving away this hat here. This is the Bay Golf Club. This is the team that I'm going to be supporting just because of where the team is, I guess, located. So to enter the giveaway, just join Discord, enter the giveaway. If you like and comment something relevant to this video below down in the comments and you're chosen as a winner, I'll give you a bonus prize. So let's get into it. So tomorrow's golf league, or TGL, is basically a sporting event that combines traditional golf team competition with today's most advanced technology. So it's creating a new primetime spectator sport, or trying to, and this will give you more insight, hopefully, into the personalities of the PGA professionals taking part in all of this. So I want to cover what we know. So right now, there's 24 players, which are combining to create 6 teams to compete for $21 million, with the winning team receiving $9 million, and this is according to golf.com. So the purse size is almost the same as an Augusta Masters tournament. Just to note, I will be doing a fun little tier list of the players and how I think they will vibe in this new golf format, so stay tuned and subscribe for that. Of the 4 team members, only 3 will be meeting in the weekly matches, so that could dictate on ticket sales or who you want to go see if you're looking forward to seeing a specific person, and maybe they're not in that week's match. Matches are expected to take around 2 hours. There's a 40-second shot clock to keep things moving. Comparatively, NBA is around 2 to 2.5 hours. NFL is 3 hours for a complete game. So it slots roughly into that kind of same viewing experience. We have scheduled 15 regular season matches, followed by a 4-team semifinals, and then everything culminating with the top 2 teams competing to win what they're calling the SoFi Cup or something like that, in a best of 3 finals series. The matches are comprised of 15 holes with 2 separate sessions. The first session being 9 holes of alternate shots between the 3 players, and the second session is 6 holes of single matches. What's interesting about this is ESPN and now Sky Sports have inked deals to broadcast this on a multi-year term. So we're going to have this for a couple years, at least on paper. So let's see if that buy-in really makes a difference in terms of how popular TGL actually gets. One thing to note is a company called TMRW, or Tomorrow Sports, is the company overseeing TGL, which is founded by Tiger, Rory, and a person named Mike McCarley. Mike McCarley is an NBC sports executive, so he does have loads of experience with broadcasting sports through NBC. But what I think is very interesting here is the ownership stakes between multiple parties. So this is according to a Wired article I read, but the PGA Tour already took an 18% ownership stake. So that's already buy-in and indicating that the PGA does not see this as a threat, largely because they're not poaching players and removing them from any scheduled tournaments. Another 18% is also given to the team owners, and the team owners right now are comprised of all these big hitting investors. Like Arthur Blank is a huge investor in Atlanta's team. For the Bay Club, we have people like Steph Curry and a bunch of others like Andre Iguodala. So I've looked through all the teams, and yeah, all these investors are pretty hard hitters. 10% of the ownership goes to the players themselves, so they get equity in addition to prize money, which is a pretty big difference, and I'll get into that a little bit later. Mike McCarley's Tomorrow Sports, they get a majority stake at 54%. So why should anyone care about being an owner of this? Like, why should ownership stakes be even mentioned here? Well, all major sport franchises, if this pops off, you want to be part of that exclusive club. The NBA, NFL, MLB, owning one of 32 of something that is multi-billion dollars, yeah, you want to own that. And to say that you own that is, that's pretty cool. Like I said, Arthur Blank knows a thing or two about owning a team, and I'm sure he views this kind of like as a cheap way to replicate that sort of feeling he has with the Atlanta Falcons. Sports franchises on even the worst teams can still make an incredible amount of money. There's merchandise, there's tickets, there's a lot of money that's funneled into sports. And so if TGL somehow miraculously, pops off, there's only 6 of these teams in existence. Not saying TGL gets to that level, but it is a risk that some of these investors are willing to make. So here are my observations. Firstly, TGL, it's getting gassed up. It's in the echo chamber of golf, and social media blitzing is in full force right now. The social media team and TGL keep peeling back the layers of the whole thing, And I'm sure there are going to be more and more revealed up, even up until this video that I'm posting will be released as we get closer to that January 7th match. One thing that I want to touch about is ownership in comparison to LIV or PGA. So there's a lot of emphasis of the performance and entertainment compared to that of LIV and PGA. For instance, like LIV, they got their cash and they got their check. Maybe outside of people like Bryson, you can't tell me that people like Dustin Johnson really care about how LIV Golf does. He got his cash. I don't know if it's tied in the stipulations of the long term or longevity of LIV, but he's not going to care. TGL doesn't have the unlimited funding of LIV or the established money flow of the PGA, so it has to succeed for the investors to make profit. So we'll see if that even comes to fruition. Next up, the technology is amazing. Like I was talking about, the main talking point in all of this, of course, is the massive screen, which is 53 feet high and 64 feet across. And also the entire green complex can rotate and apparently has like actuating pistons underneath to change the contouring of the green. Golf is one of those few sports where a deviation of the main sport is like the most different, for better or worse. So like you have slam ball, which is quite different from regular basketball. And then you have 3-on-3 basketball. WNBA is coming out with Unrivaled League. You have arena football, pickleball. I think one deviation from a normal sport that is getting wildly popular, and I mean already is popular, is the Savannah Bananas. Kind of like the Globetrotters, I guess, of baseball. So yeah, but I think TGL itself is, because it's using simulator golf, is one of, like I said, the biggest deviations from actual professional golf. And there's a lot of people who are already saying that it's going to fail. Speaking of technology, one interesting thing here is that I've gotten some big course architects making some cool holes, and since they are in a digital medium, they can make some pretty neat designs that are like not of this world. One comment I saw like on IG post or something is saying that they're pretty much playing like a Mario Golf type of hole, which on that IG post I kind of like saw that, which is pretty cool. Another thing is the scheduling is very interesting. So when you look at the first 5 matches, the first match doesn't debut with either major name draw, which obviously is Tiger or Rory. The second match does feature Tiger and his team versus the LA Golf Club, and the third matchup is just okay. Then you get to the fourth match is Tiger versus Rory. I really think this first one that I'm going to is going to iron out all the technical bugs and issues and get people kind of hooked. And then boom, second match has Tiger Woods, and people who want to see Tiger and watch him play. I mean, your time to watch Tiger in golf in any professional setting or TGL or whatever is running out. Honestly, we don't know how much more he's going to play. He's only committed to maybe the PNC and some majors. He didn't even play in his own Hero World Challenge. So yeah, people are going to want to pay to see Tiger. Who knows how much longer we'll get to see him play, but TGL kind of extends that, which is great. I think, the first match, iron things out. Second match, get more people hooked with Tiger. And then that fourth match with Tiger versus Rory, that's going to be the one that, sets the tone of the rest of the season, I guess, with the 11 other matches before the playoff series. So let's get into my concerns. As a spectator sport, just right now, it's just a huge bet. And I'm not sold on the concept, but I'm willing to be proven wrong. Mainly because the flow of digital and physical. So as you know, on a golf sim, once the ball goes into the screen, it takes a little bit to show up on the computer screen to show where it ends up. So unless they're like boosting these computers, and it's a full swing simulator, right? So that's a company that's not TrackMan or Foresight. They really need to make sure there's no weird downtime and it flows pretty well. So we'll see how that is as a spectator sport. A lot of people have already, commenting negative thoughts and saying it's going to fail because it's just sim golf, which, yeah, they're right, So let's see how good sim golf can be. This is going to be the pinnacle. Another concern is the green itself. Yes, it rotates, pistons actuate, but the green is literally the same shape and look every single hole. Maybe there'll be nuances when the pistons go up and down, but in terms of us like looking at it, we're not going to be on the green. It's literally the same green and the same couple of bunkers. So I think it will take really good hole design for one not to notice this for 15 holes of golf. And lastly, my last concern is that given that there's a ton of technology, there's just a ton of points of failure, man. Like, I hope Mike McCarley is, prepared for all contingencies, but the biggest issue will be if they hit a shot and it doesn't register. If that happens, then boom, that's going to ruin it for so much. People are just going to instant turn it off, so that's another concern. So one thing I wanted to also touch base upon, like what determines success. And for me, I kind of broke it down into 3 scenarios. The perfect execution of high success, reasonable probable execution of medium success, and then worst case scenario. So, and the perfect execution, high success, the in-person watching is fluid and it's paced well like a basketball game where you can't really feel commercial TV timeouts. Gameplay is fun and exciting, and 15 holes feel like it wasn't really enough. The players are all bought into the league and are willing to put some enthusiasm and energy into playing. Then there's no technical hiccups that deter from the watching experience. Ultimately, you want to make it feel like the in-person is worth going to as opposed to just watching on TV. For me, football is definitely that. Like, the electricity that you get from seeing a touchdown scored in person is so much elevated compared to just watching it on TV. Same thing with basketball and watching a comeback from behind. Same thing, or shouting defense or shouting all these things, That's like a perfect scenario, and FOMO gets generated as a result, and people decide that they for sure will attend again sometime down the road. I don't think that's going to happen. That, of course, is what the perfect execution looks like. Here's what I think is more probable and the most reasonable. Like, the in-person experience is reasonable and the flow is okay, but downtime is noticeable. Just like football with the guys in the orange cross, with the TV timeouts. I feel like basketball, the TV timeouts are less noticeable, but in football, it's totally noticeable, especially during the playoffs when the big paying companies are paying for playoff commercial time. Those are really noticeable. Most players are into the event, but then you notice that, maybe the crowd is into it at some point and one player is kind of just like, whatever, man, I don't want to be here. Some technical issues do occur, but it doesn't deter from the overall product or viewing experience. Maybe a screen goes out, but it's not a big deal. Like I said, missed shot, cannot have it. Like, if you have a missed shot, that's going to ruin a lot of it. And then ultimately, people felt like they got their money's worth and may consider attending again. I think that's reasonable and probable in terms of the execution and success. But let's go to the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario, of course, is like the in-person experience is awful. Like, all the viewpoints advantages that they're promising, maybe it's not that great. And the technology doesn't translate well, like hitting into a screen to a live spectator sport. Watching online or watching on television, like they haven't gotten the camera angles dialed in or anything, and it just doesn't flow very well. The players and the crowds aren't into it, which I think maybe that will be the case. But if the players aren't into it, then the crowd's not going to get into it. And it's just going to be a very bad vibe. And then something from a technical standpoint has issues and derails the event. So like I said, missed shots, maybe the green breaks or a hole gets put into the screen or something, or the green can't rotate or something for some reason. Worst case would be no one watches it on TV and doesn't enjoy it watching on TV, so they tune away. And then people consider it a one and done and have no desire to return again. That is the worst case scenario. Here are my closing thoughts and why you should care. I think ultimately golf needs more people watching it, as I think viewership is getting stale without a Tiger Woods. It will continue to grow at a mediocre rate at the rate that it is now with, the people who are involved at this point in time. But any attempts to grow the game and expand viewership like TGL, I'm all for it. I think honestly right now, there's no reason to be vehemently opposed to this whole concept, because at the end of the day, it's more golf, and at a time where golf is not normally broadcasted, which is prime time and at night. And the players involved are not being taken away from any, play from normally scheduled events, unlike the fracturing of LIV. I don't really like to make this comparison, but I think it's kind of Disney buying Star Wars and giving us more Star Wars to watch, where it's TGL is giving us more golf to watch. You might not necessarily like it, but it is more of the product, and I think it needs to be made. Maybe it catches like Andor, or maybe it feels like the Alkalite. I don't know. We'll see. But like I said, I will be cheering on the Bay Club. I hope to see them make it to the playoffs. I will also be live threading the event on January 7th when I'm there in person. But yeah, let me know your thoughts of TGL in the comments below. And remember to enter the giveaway on Discord for the hat. That being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Keep chasing, and we'll see you in the next one.